Hello creative people, and welcome back to another episode of Busy Beader. If you don't know me already, or if you happen to forget my name, no worries. My name is Caitlin, and here on Busy Beader I show you how to make fun and easy crafts that can unlock your creativity in just a short amount of time. Today's crafts might take us a little longer than usual, but the product is going to be so beautiful. I think it's going to be completely worth it. It is going to be one of my favorite pieces I think I've ever made on the channel, so we'll have to discover together if my predictions are correct. But today we are going to be making a multi-layered, multicolored crystal necklace. And that necklace would not be possible without the help of my sponsor, Fire Mountain Gems and Beads. They have all the crystals that anyone could possibly need, all the crystals that I needed for this project. So be sure to take a look at their website. There's a link in the description box below for you. And if you are a first-time customer, please be sure to use this very special discount code that's right here. That is for my viewers only, and that gets you $5 off when you apply the code at checkout. And that is a thank you for being one of my viewers and being a part of our community. So go have all kinds of fun and get all the crystals that you need for this beautiful necklace. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That way you can join our growing crafting community. Leave me a comment down below and tell me what you think of this necklace or ask me questions. I do my very best to respond to each and every comment, so I can't wait to hear from you guys. All right, without further ado, let's jump into our project today. Step 1. You can tell there are quite a few things that you are going to need today. We're going to start with the basic stuff. You're going to need a variety of gold jump rings, some head pins, a clasp. You're going to need some gold chain. I'm using this Figaro chain that I love so much. If you are a purveyor of this channel, you will recognize it, but you can use whatever chain you like. And if you are more of a silver person rather than a gold person, absolutely change everything out to silver. Project will still work great with silver. I just tend to prefer gold. Then for tools, you're going to need round nose pliers, another set of pliers, some clippers, and I encourage you to get a set of these and try them out. I believe they are called loopers, and they automatically make loops and drops for you. I'm going to show you how to use these. These are not a foolproof tool, but when you have a lot of drops that you're making, they can kind of speed up the process and be nice. So I figured I would show you this tool option today. If you're like, nah, I'm good, I'm going to do it the traditional way, that's totally fine. And then, of course, you are going to need a lot of sparkles. So what I did was I just went through my drawer that I have full of all of my Crystal Passions sparkly beads, and I grabbed one of each kind that I own. So there we would be here for the next 10 minutes if I named every single one. But as you can see, you can pause the video, you can look at the varieties. I have got cube shapes, I've got round shapes, I've got flowers and butterflies. I have so many bicones. I've got some other guys over here. I've got hearts and drops and these flat ones that are so pretty. And so I just encourage you to collect a whole variety. I'm going to link a couple of the more common ones that I use below, some variety packs if my sponsors got them. But just grab sparkles. You just need lots and lots of sparkles for this project. It does not need to be an exact match to what I'm doing. In fact, it probably won't be, and that's a good thing because that's kind of what this project is wanting to embody, is a little bit of wild fun. So anyway, once you've gathered all of your supplies, your materials, your tools, all your sparkly bits, meet me back here and we'll get started. Step 2. All right, so we're going to set all of these to the side. I separated my beads into two groups. One group is all of the beads that we are going to be using head pins with, and one group is all of the beads that we're going to be using jump rings with. This guy actually belongs over with the head pins. There we go. So we're going to get started on the easier stuff first. So I'm just going to go ahead and move this chain to the side and move my little clasp to the side, and then all of these guys are just going to scooch, scooch. So are these, and we're going to get started with these, and then we'll move on to this. All right, so what you're gonna do with these guys, they are crystals, so you want to be very careful not to force anything. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna find jump rings that match a good size to what you're wanting on these guys. So I'm gonna start with this one here, and I am going to open it up like this. And we're gonna grab this big crystal here. This is the biggest one that we've got. And we are going to thread that through. And we are going to close, making sure that there are no gaps. Perfect, and you are going to do that for all of these. So you're not gonna need jump rings quite as big. I chose a really big jump ring for this, but for most of these other guys, you're gonna want smaller jump rings here, like this one, but that is going to be the process for these guys, is that you are going to open them up, and you're going to slide them through, just being sure not to force anything, otherwise the crystals will break, and closing those jump rings. So that is the process for these guys. So I'm not gonna make you watch me do all of that to all of these. So go ahead and pause the video, put on your favorite TV show, and put jump rings on all of those guys, and then meet me back here and I will show you how to do the next step.
Step 3.
All right, now that you have all of your jump ring ones done over here, we gotta get to work on our head pin ones. So what you're gonna do for these guys is you are going to take a head pin, you're going to slide your bead on. So the traditional way of doing this is by taking your round nose pliers, going up to the top of the bead, just above it, pushing the wire out at a 45 to 90 degree angle. You're going to take your clippers and you're going to clip off the excess. This is enough excess that you're gonna wanna save that and turn that into a eye pin. But if it's too small, then you don't have to keep it. You can just put it into your recycling. But you're gonna go over to the end of your wire here with your round nose pliers, and you're going to spin your pliers back around to make a loop, just like that. Now, the way to do this with our looper tool is by taking your head pin, and you are going to slide a bead on. Let's see, we're gonna do, here, we'll do this other crystal. Big one here. And then you are going to take your looper pliers, and on your looper tool, there is a hole on this side here. There's an opening. I know they're a strange contraption, but what you do is you're gonna stick your wire through this area, and you're going to put it so that it comes out this hole that was on this other side that I showed you. And you're going to put it so that the bead is right up against this area here. You don't want to press too tightly, otherwise it will crack the crystal, because crystal is delicate, but you also don't want to have it be too loose. And you're going to want to keep it up in the middle, this direction and this direction, up and down. If it's too far down, they are not foolproof tools. Sometimes it can get stuck. It can kind of go behind, so try and keep it centered in all planes, so to speak. But once you have it where you want it, you're going to squeeze the tool, and it automatically cuts and shapes the loop for you. Now, you may notice that this loop is not perfectly closed, and that is another part of this tool that is not foolproof. So if you want to, you can go through with your round nose pliers and you can close that loop now. I am not going to do that, however, because we are going to be opening these loops to place them on the chain, and we can just fix that gap when we close the loops after putting them on the chain. So I'm not going to worry about it right now, but if you would rather just have them closed and just not have to worry about it later, you can absolutely do that as well. So whatever method you choose, whether or not you decide to get a looper tool or just do it the traditional way, you are going to put all of your crystals here onto head pins. And that is going to take you a good while. This project requires a lot of crystals. So put on your favorite TV show, get to jamming, and get all of these done. And then once you have finished all of them, meet me back here and I will show you our next steps.
Step 4.
Once you have all of your pieces on head pins and all made up, you can mix your two piles together because it's not going to matter anymore. That was just a separate way to show you how to make all of them. So we are going to move these to the side real quick because the next thing we're going to do is get our chain. So this is a 2-layer necklace. So we need 2 layers of chain at different lengths. So you're gonna grab a tape measure, a ruler, whatever you've got, and we are going to do our first chain at 16 inches. So we're gonna pull this all the way out here. Double check that I'm good. And we are going to take our clippers and we're going to clip these here at 16 inches. And then we are going to do that again. And our second chain is going to be 18 inches. So, and 18 inches is right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and clip that as well. Then we can move our big spool of chain off to the side. And the next thing that we're going to do is connect them to our clasp. So we're going to find 2 ends here. And we are going to grab one of our jump rings. We're going to open our jump ring up and we are going to slide it through both our 18-inch chain and our 16-inch chain. And then I'm going to go ahead and put our clasp on this end since we're here. And we are going to close. So making sure that they stay untwisted all the way down. And now we are going to open up this other jump ring. And we are going to slide the 18-inch chain and then the 16-inch chain on. And then we're going to close. If you wanted to add a chain extender to this necklace, this would be the time you'd want to attach it to this jump ring here. I'm not going to add a chain extender, so I'm just going to go ahead and close. All right, and now
Step 5.
This part of it is very much not an exact science. So you can do one of 2 things. You can either just start attaching sparkles, or if you want, you can lay things out. So I'm going to lay out some of my bigger sparkles and then just fill in with my smaller ones is my idea here. So I'm just gonna take all of these and then I'm just gonna start kind of vaguely laying out where I want certain pieces to go. I think this big one I am going to put centered at the bottom. And then these others, I'm just going to start placing and moving around until I find something that I think works. And I want my pieces to be concentrated towards the center. So I'm not going to go very far up the sides of my chain, but you could. We have enough sparkles here. You could go all the way to the back, but I kind of like the idea of all of my little sparkles being more towards the center. So, yeah, so I'm just going to kind of lay these out and mess with the colors and the order. If you wanted to do any kind of like pink to blue or a gradient, or you could really make it rainbow and purposefully make it go from red all the way to purple. You absolutely could do that. I think that I'm going to embrace a more randomized look to it, a more natural, just kind of hodgepodge, so to speak. I think those are all my big pieces. So all of these other small ones here, I am going to leave to fill in afterwards. So what I'm going to do next might seem a little strange, but very carefully here, I'm actually going to pick up my chain. Try not to disturb my layout here all that much. Perfect. Now I am going to find the center of my longest piece. And since that's where I want this guy, we're going to start with that. So this one here had a jump ring. So I'm going to need 2 sets of pliers here to open it up. And I am going to go through this centered piece on the chain. And with this Figaro chain, I'm probably going to stick to putting all of these on the bigger loops of the Figaro chain, but you could also put them on the smaller loops. That doesn't particularly matter. Perfect. So now that I have my first one on here, which that looks very pretty all by itself, but we're having a fun hodgepodge today. Now I'm just going to start going from left to right on this. Now that I have my center, I'm going to take my heart and I'm going to attach my heart a little ways up here. And then I'm just going to go all the way up like that. And then I'm going to do that to this opposite side here as well. And then once I have attached all of those, I'm going to do the same to this one up here. It was this red one here that was my center on the 16-inch chain. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and do that one as well. So I'm going to open that up, and this is the loop that I made with the looper. So I just have to remember as I place it on the chain, when I close it, just have to remember to make sure to close it with no gaps. So taking our center here and attaching that to the chain, and then I'm going to close. Perfect. So now that I have both the center ones on my necklace here, I am going to do what I said earlier, where I work my way from the center and I just go up and up the other side, and just place them where you feel like they should go. Don't be super specific about it if you don't want to be, but give yourself enough room for all of these other shinies to go in between all of these. So I'm gonna let you loose to start attaching these big ones onto your chain. And once you've attached the big ones, I will show you the process for attaching all the little ones. Once you have all of your big beads all laid out, and I found that when I did this too, I hung it up actually on my tripod, and that made putting them on a lot easier than doing it flat. So that's a little pro tip for you. I can't really film that though, but yeah, hang it up and then put the beads on it. But anyway, your next step is now going to be, I have separated these out again into two piles of smaller and larger beads. So what I am going to do, I made sure to go every other on these big Figaros, so that way I could put these smaller beads in there. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take these larger of the smaller beads that we have left, and I'm just going to start placing them randomly in between these bigger ones that we've got here. So go ahead and do that and start to fill in some of these smaller beads in between. And then when you run out of these big guys to go in between, start grabbing these little ones. And then once you've filled in every other, so all of your big links on the chain are filled with beads, if you still have extra left over, you can either start to go up the sides a little bit, which will give it a little bit of a taper, or you can just like fill it in, double up in some areas. But yes, you're going to take these smaller beads now and you're going to fill in this area on the bigger beads. And once you've done that, come back and we will see how it looks all finished. And there we have it. This is a long project, but the product is just so beautiful. I love all the multicolors and the fun vibes with it, and being able to just place your beads wherever you feel like is right. I hope you enjoyed getting to make this with me today. And there we go. This project took a little bit more time because you gotta make each individual drop, and there are a lot of drops, a lot of crystals, and then you gotta do a lot of organizing, but all that work is so worth it because this project is just so stunning. It is so much fun. It's kind of the embodiment of my personality. I am a very multicolored, colorful, bright, bubbly kind of person. So this project really just encompasses who I try and be in the world, and so I just had a ton of fun getting to pour all kinds of love into it and get to make it, and I hope that you did too. If you did, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That way you can hang out with me all the time, and I'm sure we'll be making lots more colorful things in the future. And don't forget to check out my sponsor, Fire Mountain Gems and Beads, and if you're a new customer, use that discount code and get $5 off. I hope that you have a wonderful multicolored kind of week, and I will see you in the next one.